An iron warrior. I should have smelled the rot before I saw you. Tell me, Drekar, does it bother you that even your daemon Primarch abandoned you for a backwater corner of the eye, while my Primarch stayed true to the Emperor? I suppose loyalty's not really your thing, is it?
Oh, Ferrum, the Iron Hands. You lot worship the machine more than your own blood. Oh wait, I forgot. You don't have blood. Just oil leaks. Does it hurt knowing Ferrus Manus got his head removed by Fulgrim? Or are you too busy crying hydraulic fluid over his corpse?
Better to lose a head than to have one like Perturon, constantly begging for attention from a corpse on a golden throne. The Iron Hands rebuild ourselves stronger with every defeat, while your Legion's greatest achievement is stacking rocks like a particularly ambitious servitor. You lot couldn't engineer a cogitator, let alone hold a planet, without throwing a tantrum when someone notices how ugly your fortresses are.
Fortresses, you say? Remind me, Ferrum, who was it that cracked your precious Medusa? Or was that just a friendly visit from my brothers in the siege of Medusa 5? Your fortress world fell like a toy in a child's hands. The Iron Hands, oh sorry, iron stumps, should stick to polishing your servo arms. You're not building strength, you're just patching weaknesses, like a broken auto turret trying to stay relevant on the battlefield.
Medusa was nothing but a sideshow, a distraction for the real war effort. You Iron Warriors call yourselves siege masters, but it seems the only thing you've truly mastered is how to lose your grip on Terra. Twice. The Siege of Terra, then that pathetic excuse of a counter-assault during the heresy. What was that? Did you leave your courage behind with Perturon when he took his sulking vacation to the Eye of Terror?
Heresy? Ah, yes. We had the guts to challenge the false emperor. And what did Ferrus Manus do? Oh, right. He died before even making it halfway through. Impressive leadership, really. I'd say it was heroic, but getting decapitated in the first act of the heresy? That's not leadership. That's incompetence wrapped in ceramite.
At least our Primarch didn't whine and moan about daddy issues while throwing temper tantrums. Perturon built fortresses because that's all he could do, literally walling himself off like a child in a tantrum. And while we may have lost our Primarch early, it seems like you lot never grew out of that defeatist, bitter mentality. All those fortresses, yet the biggest walls you built were around your own fragile egos.
Fragile egos? Coming from an iron hand? You can't even go a day without grafting more metal to your body because you can't stomach the idea that flesh, actual human strength, is stronger than your tin cans. We wage wars for millennia. You can't even keep your hands from shaking without upgrading every 5 minutes. The Adeptus Mechanicus called. They want their scrap back.
And I bet you'd steal that scrap if you had the chance. Typical Iron Warrior tactics. Pilfering bits and pieces because you can't innovate anything on your own. Your whole legion is like Perturon himself, grumbling about being unappreciated while sulking behind walls you didn't even have the sense to reinforce properly. Let's face it, you're just world eaters with a protractor.
Ah, yes, the Iron Hands. The second best engineers in the Imperium, following us of course. We break worlds, Ferrum, while you struggle to fix them after we're done. Your obsession with replacing your body only proves one thing. You wish you were as strong as us. We mastered siegecraft while you're still out there trying to repair your broken pride after every major conflict. When's the last time you actually won a war without scurrying off to your forges, like scared Mechanicum drones?
We don't run, Perturon. We rebuild. Your legion cracks under pressure like your fragile siege cannons. Even your own brothers hate you. Warsmiths killing warsmiths, as if one Perturon wasn't enough of a burden on the galaxy. The Iron Warriors are just walking monuments to failure, from the heresy to Cadia. And speaking of Cadia, remind me, how's that Blackstone fortress you lost doing these days? Still blaming the gods for that one?
Cadia? You mean the place where your fragile Imperium threw their best and still lost? We let Abaddon handle the cleanup, but we did all the real work. And what did your chapter do? Sat there brooding, like you always do, polishing your augmetics because the rest of the Imperium knows you can't handle a real siege. Your tactics are as outdated as your Primarch's corpse. Cold, dead, and rotting away in irrelevance.
Better to brood in victory than fester in bitterness. Keep stacking your walls, Drekar, but remember, it was you who lost Terra, and it'll be the Iron Hands who will tear down the last of your crumbling fortresses. Maybe then you'll finally have the decency to call it quits, and join your Primarch in his well-earned obscurity.